All right. Live on Facebook, live on YouTube, streaming to you live from the rectangular office, corporate headquarters of CFM Group, coffee in hand, ready to roll. Good Thursday morning to you folks. Give us a couple minutes here to get fired up. All the notifications go out. Everybody gets synced, get logged in. Pastor Chuck, good morning. Love all my regulars. Pop in every morning. So today's topic. Those of you that know me know I am an economics aficionado. Studied economics in college. Love it. Once I realized that economics was the science of business, I wanted to be a scientist. I wanted to be Jacques Cousteau, actually, but that's a whole nother story. But once I discovered that econ was the science of business, I was like, that's interesting. So I've studied economics. And today, Economics 101. We are talking about taxes. Taxes. And in particular, I want to talk about two aspects of taxes. One is tax avoidance, and one is tax evasion. This is, I know, an exciting topic for many of you. So buckle up, strap yourself in, because we are talking econ this morning. Tax avoidance, absolutely nothing wrong with tax avoidance. Everybody on the planet seeks to avoid taxes as much as possible. Evasion will put you in jail. If you evade taxes, it will put you in jail. If you avoid taxes, everybody does that. Everybody wants to do that. And it just frosts me when I hear these people talk about the rich not paying their fair share or blah, 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 whatever the case may be. It is just so disingenuous, so dishonest, so unbelievably economically ignorant. That, you know, the guy that, if you have a 10% tax rate, the guy that makes $1 million a year pays $100,000, and the guy that makes $18,000 a year pays $1,800. But wait a minute. The millionaire is not paying his fair share. I'm sorry. There is no fair share. There is no the rich are not paying their fair share. The fair share doesn't have anything to do with it. It's tax law. It's the law. It's whatever the tax law is what you pay. And it just blows my mind that people are so, as I said, economically ignorant. That this is a bit. I've been screaming this from the mountaintop for 30 years. We just have no economic education in our school systems, and as a result, we are churning out economic ignoramuses on a regular basis, and have been doing so for decades. And that's why people don't understand. You ever wonder why? You know, I hear a lot of people talk about how the Jewish faith and so many of those people are like they run the world, they run the banks, they run this, they run Hollywood, they do all this stuff. And you know, I think you can attribute a lot of that because I'm not Jewish, so I'm not really familiar with all the culture and whatnot. But I've learned a lot over the years, being kind of grafted into that tree through my faith in Jesus Christ, grafted into that God's people kind of tree. That part of the bar mitzvah process, and part of that is a heck of that's a commitment for these young men and women, bar mitzvah and bat mitzvah men and women respectively. It's a commitment, and a big piece of their education is financial. Wow, bing, could have had a V8. You teach kids about finance. You teach them about money. You teach them about business, how to manage it, how to grow it, what it's all about, what is interest, why is this important, why are taxes important, why is, how come there's a payday loan center on the corner of my block? Who do they serve? Why are they here? Why is it better to have a bank and the relationship with a bank than a relationship with a payday loan place? And you educate young people on that, and oh my gosh, they grow up and control the world. It's not rocket science. It's because they've been educated. It's because they've been taught. It's because they understand how the world works, how money works, how people are. It just blows my mind that, and then you get people that are so, just economically ignorant. They're so just blown over by the basic truths of the world that they don't understand how it works. I mean, I remember when I was in college, we got student loans when I was in college. It was actually a pretty good deal at the time. Now the whole student loan mess is incredible, and nobody wants to talk about the fact that the government has taken over student loans and they're making billions of dollars a year off of those student loan programs now. But when I was in school getting student loans, we all, everybody was getting student loans and whatnot. And my dad and we went down to Radford, and we ended up buying a house down there for me to live in. And I'll get back around to student loans here, so bear with me. But we bought a house for me to live in down there, and I rented out rooms in that house, and I used the revenue from those room rentals for my expense money. Taught me how to deal with all the ins and outs of running a household and this, that, and the other. And all of my friends and myself included, because we were eligible, we filled out the Vela paperwork and everything, and got student loans. And at the time, those student loan interest rates were, I think, maybe 3%, 3 or 4%, something like that. As well at the time, this was 81 to 84, 81, 82, 83, 84, yeah, 81 to 84, when I was in college. And at the time, the interest rates, money market interest rates, were 17, 18%. So I had an income stream coming in from this is in college now. I had a long time ago. Had an income stream coming in from the rooms that I rented to my roommates. So I didn't necessarily need the Vela loan money to pay the bills. So I was taking the Vela loan. I was getting the Vela loan checks, and I was sending them home to my dad. And my dad was putting them in a money market account, making 17%, paying Vela 3%. The whole time I was in school, we were. I mean, it was free money. It was eligible. We were eligible for it. So we applied for the loans. We got the loans. My other friends, a lot of my other college roommates, were getting Vela loans and having keg parties, which I gladly went to, and I gladly imbibed on the free beer, or big cookouts, or big parties, or other things that we imbibed in at the time, and just blowing their money, and it's always, the checks would come out at the beginning of the semester, and the funding would come out, and it was, everybody was rich, everybody was rolling in dough, and we would have all these great parties and everything, and then by the end of the semester, everybody was eating Spam and ramen noodles and cat food. But it was just, I mean, it's just economic ignorance. They just, we had a plan in place with me and my dad, that we went down there, we bought this little house right off campus. I lived there. I rented rooms out. I generated income that way. Generated income in some other ways as well, which we won't get into right now. But I generated my income from those people, my roommates that lived with me, and I used that to cover my monthly expenses that I had down there. And I would get the Vela loan checks. I would send them home to Dad. He would put them in the bank and earn 18% interest on that money. Until the interest rates started dropping, and after a while, we ended up just paying the loan off. After I got out of college, because the interest rates had kind of, the loans had started to creep up, and the money market rates started to come down, and once they balanced out or got close to zero, to no gain, there was no point in it anymore. So we ended up paying off the loans and just moving on. But just little stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, economic education is the key. It's the key to financial success. It's the key to business success. In my opinion, it's the key to the success of the country. Because the more economically, that's where my conservative beliefs came from. I mean, I was young and dumb and liberal as anyone else, probably, growing up. Well, probably not as liberal as anyone. Probably not liberal at all, actually, come to think of it. But I didn't really understand liberal, conservative, that kind of thing at the time. I just kind of knew where I came down because I was raised in an entrepreneurial environment with my dad being self-employed and a businessman and whatnot. So I just kind of always grew up in that vein. But that's really the core of my conservative philosophy today. I really call myself today. I call myself a constitutional conservative with libertarian leanings, and it comes from economic education. And they say, I think Churchill said, if you're not liberal when you're young, you don't have a heart. If you're not conservative when you're older, you don't have a brain. It's an interesting theory, because when you're young, you want all the feel good stuff. You want, we're trying to make a difference. It was done with the best intentions, and we had, it was all, it felt so good to be on this side of this issue or whatever it was, and the conservative side as well. What are the results? What are the results of that? What are the results of your efforts? What are the results of this particular thing? Let's not give somebody a fish. Let's teach them how to fish, and it makes all the difference in the world. And it formed, because I went back and did. It's all anecdotal, obviously, but I went back and kind of really thought this through at one point. And so why? Because I had 5 sisters growing up, and same dad anyway. I had 3 sisters. My dad had 3 sisters from previous marriage, never anything other than just sisters to me. But they had 3 sisters from a previous marriage, and myself and my 2 younger sisters. So I had 5 sisters, all growing up with the same influence and the same, the same essential background from, both my parents, very conservative, very, my dad, obviously an entrepreneur, self-taught, self-educated man, did a very good job. You see Norm? That's Norm back here. That's Norm. That's my dad. Never more happy than when he was on the beach, much like his son. But all of us raised in the same environment, same household, same same businessman as our dad. Yet, how do I come out to be just a little to the right of Attila the Hun? And all 5 of my sisters, hard. Some of them just moderately to the left, but some of them just radical left. One of my sisters went to Cornell, and was a very was activist and anti-war. She was one of my older sisters, and she to this day she is as hardcore left as you can be. I got to thinking about that. So how does that happen? And really it comes down to economic education, I think, because they just don't understand the way the world works. They don't understand the way business works. And the interesting thing about me as a conservative is I study conservatism. I understand it. I understand how it works. I understand why I believe what I believe. I can articulate why I believe what I believe. I also study liberalism, and I understand that. I understand. I can articulate why they believe what they believe, and I have the ability to kind of look on both sides of it. But so oftentimes the folks on the left, they don't study anything on the right. They just live, eat, and breathe in their own little liberal cocoons, and they don't have an opportunity to get outside that box. They do have the opportunity. They just choose not to get outside that box and study anything other than what it is that they believe and all their close little friends believe and what it is that they're into. And so I think that has a lot to do with how that was for me anyway. Just as I said, just anecdotal evidence, but just my study of economics in college and kind of realizing, oh, okay, this is the way business works. This is the way the economy works. This is the way the markets work. This is understanding all that stuff and getting a good handle on all that stuff kind of made me into the person that I am. And I think look back at my sisters who I obviously love dearly, love all of them dearly, but predominantly a lot of educators, you know, a couple of teachers in there, a couple of wonderful teachers in that group, but just kind of surrounded in that bubble of academia and then the education, which is, you know, heavily leans left, and just kind of live in that world and kind of adopted that worldview because that's human nature. I mean, we become the things we think about. We become the things that we associate with, like the people we associate with, the stuff that we do. I've been rambling now for a little long, but we can't help but become the people that we expose ourselves to, the people, the things that we talk about, the things that we think about, things that we read, the things that we follow. That all influences us. It's why I think, you know, people talk about, you know, kind of loop around into the current state of affairs around guns and the shootings and all that stuff. And you know, I mean, people, you become what you think about. You become what you focus on. You become what you pay the most attention to. And you know, you can't tell me that young kids spending hours and hours and hours a day immersed in video games, shooting people, killing people, you know, doing all that stuff doesn't have an effect on their psyche, doesn't have an effect on what they become. They live and breathe and everything in that community. So it shapes the way they come. Now, I played an occasional video game, and I love to shoot guns, and I'm an enthusiast at that, whatnot. But you know, I don't go out and kill people. But you know, it speaks to that broader topic that I was talking about. That we are going to become the people that we become is shaped by what we take in. You know, garbage in, garbage out, kind of thing. And if you surround yourself with positive people, with uplifting people, with you know, Christ-centered people, or whatever your faith happens to be, if it's no faith at all, that's, you know, whatever the case may be. But if you surround yourself with good, positive, uplifting, highly motivated, highly successful people, then you will become more optimistic, more hopeful, more you know, more successful, more everything that is good, because that's what you're taking in all the time. That's what you're surrounding yourself with. Have you ever noticed, especially, I mean, me, I'm an incredibly optimistic person, and to the point of being annoying to a lot of people. But if you ever get around somebody that's negative, it just sucks the air out of the room. It's incredible when and you know these people. You have these people in your life. You know them. You come across them, and it's like, and it's just like you have to kind of gird yourself up and put on the full armor, and it's like, oh, I've got to go talk to so and so, and oh, I just know it's just gonna be painful, but I got to do it. You know, their family, their friend, their, you know, whatever. But it's just such a challenge sometimes when you get around those people, and they just suck the life out of everything that they touch sometimes, and it's a shame. And you know, I try my best. Somebody asked me the other day. I was talking to a buddy of mine who's coming over here for a meeting this morning, and he said, "Where did you get that attitude?" I said, saying something how you know, it's a great day, but I think it's going to get even better, kind of thing. And he's like, where did you get that attitude? And I said, well, you know, a number of years ago, I decided that today was going to be a great day. And he paused for a minute. He said, man, that is a great outlook. Because that's true. A number of years ago, many years ago, I decided that today was going to be a fantastic day. And you know what? gosh, I was right. Every day is a fantastic day. It's great, and I love it. And it's a great way to go through life. And I encourage all of you to do it, to check it out. So it ran a little long this morning, got a little bit rambly, but that's okay. You guys, please subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And hit the notification bell so you'll get the notifications when I do my live streams in the morning. If you're over on Facebook, give me the hearts and comments. I love your comments, love your input, and share the video, push it out there. We got a lot more content coming. We got a green screen and a filming room set up across the hall here in one of the empty offices currently. So we're going to be doing some production work over there, and things are moving, man. Getting a lot of views, getting a lot of input, getting a lot of comments, and I love it. I love all you guys. Thank you all for watching, and thank you all for being here and showing up every day. And it's great. I've been doing these for weeks now, and with nobody watching, and now we got a bunch of people watching, and it's growing all the time. So I thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. So once again, likes, shares, subscriptions, notification bells, and push the content out there. If you know somebody that needs this message, please share it with them. I certainly appreciate that. And as always, remember, doesn't matter whether you think you can or you think you can't. You're right. Have a great day, guys. God bless. We'll talk to you soon.